Hey there, fellow navigators. Well, it's a beautiful day here in Youngstown, Ohio. The temperature outside's mid 60s, the sun's shining. Got a fairly stiff breeze blowing, but it's a good day to get some work done. And today I'm working on the floor here in the New York Central Bay Window Caboose. So, in a video that I posted quite a while ago when we first got the car, I discussed that the floor was in pretty bad shape on this end. So I'm finally getting around to doing some work on it, and so I'll show you what I'm doing and the reason I'm doing this. So this floor originally had tongue and groove boards that went in this direction, then had furring strips, and then you have these tongue and grooves that go lengthwise, and in between was probably a 1 inch, inch and a half thick layer of fiberglass insulation. Now, the floor in the entire car is not the best, but the middle is pretty good, and the far end there is not so bad. But this end here was in horrible shape. It was all rotted away. So what I did was made a cut right here, pulled all of this out, and then, to replace it, I wasn't going to go through and put tongue and groove boards in and do it the way they did it. I've come up with this way here of, let's let the locomotive by, all right, of using plywood and a couple 2x4s and then another sheet of plywood on top, and then for insulation I will put the blue foam board down to fill up any of these gaps, very similar to what I'm doing up in the Erie Caboose. This should give me a good enough floor that's fairly simple to install and give us some insulation and be fairly sturdy. So now what I'm doing here, you can see that there's this kind of a wet material here. This is it's a non-hardening rust preventative compound that years ago somebody on Craigslist had several 5-gallon buckets of it for sale, so I bought a couple buckets. And it's a real good material for a situation like this where you have metal that's not exposed, but you want to prevent corrosion. So if water continues somehow to get inside the car and lays down here, it's just going to lay on this material and not actually soak into the steel itself. It works great in these situations where it's not going to be disturbed. Once we get the floor done, there's nothing going to be under there to wipe any of this stuff off. It never dries, so it'll provide good rust preventative. It's a lot better than trying to do anything else. I mean, trying to come in here and clean this and paint it. I mean, this is all just hard rust. I was in here with a needle scaler trying to get as much of the hard stuff off as I could, the scaly rust. But it's just not worth the effort to spend so much time to go through and clean all the rust off of this. So putting this rust preventative down will help keep any of that rust from continuing to propagate, and does a good job. Because remember, this car we bought for $1,100 at an auction, so we don't have a lot of investment in it. It's not a historic piece. It is our office and crew room, and so we're just using it as our office and crew room. And if we get 10 years out of this thing, I mean, that'll be great for $1,100 investment. So here, let me show you out here. So why did this floor rot away so much? Well, on these New York Central cars, there's no drip edge up here. Now, if you look down on the bay window, you can see that they've got a drip edge and the water comes down around the side and comes down here. But on these windows, the water just comes right down off the roof, hits here, and then basically just falls right into the channel and then makes its way inside and then goes around and then comes down the inside of the steel. So on this car, we've had this piece here to replace, and it's somewhat thin right there, but it's not poked all the way through, so we didn't mess with it here. But that's the problem on these cars, is that water comes just right through the windows and down. So what we're going to do is put a piece of angle up there, weld it in place, turn it into a gutter, and then the water will then come down on either side of the window and not through the window. Something that St. Louis Car Company back in 1953 neglected to add to this car, but something that we'll add in 2023. So, yeah, that's basically what I've got going on today. You can see my my little makeshift camping arrangement here for the car. So over here in this corner is going to be probably a countertop and a little, food and lunch prep area, maybe a set of cabinets up here so that we can keep foodstuffs and all that here. We have a locker for crew members. I've got some other lockers I'm going to bring over. And then on this side, I'm going to put the original sink back in, and it'll be tied into the water tanks up above, so that we'll have water here for washing your hands and cleaning up, and generally just a little place here for our volunteers to take care of anything they need to. Come and get a drink, get something to eat. They can keep their personal belongings while they're here. They can keep their gloves and work clothes and all that here when they're not here. And it's very convenient because right out there, that's where we can stop in the locomotive when we're loading and unloading passengers. And then I use the rest of the car. That's our office for the J&L narrow gauge. I've got that table, which just seemed to have turned into a workbench as we're doing work on the valves for 58, and just some other stuff we have going on down here. Looks rather messy right now because it's, of course, not finished. I don't have all the shelves up and everything situated the way that we want, but when we get this done, this is going to be a nice place for our crew here in the J&L. So if you're thinking about coming out to do some volunteerism here on the J&L, we have a little bit of a facility available for the volunteers. So one of the other things that I want to talk about is that we've put on our website the schedule for this year for the Steam Locomotive Experiences. So if you were thinking about doing that, that's on youngstownsteel.org, and go and sign up. I mean, it's $258. You spend all day with the locomotive. We feed you breakfast. We come out, pull the engine out, fire it up. You get to learn how to fire, learn how to add water to the boiler, learn how to check water level, all that. And then we go up the hill a few times, and you get a chance to run the locomotive up and down the hill a couple of times. And then we also, order pizza for lunch. So it's a great deal to spend a day with an operating steam locomotive, and we're going to be doing it almost every Sunday this summer. I mean, I have it on the schedule for every Sunday, and you just pick whatever Sunday you want to do that on and come on out, and we'll get you on the schedule, and we can do that. I mean, I think we had, about 24 people do it last year. Let's see if we can do a few more. I mean, it's a heck of a deal. It's a little bit cheaper than some of the other locomotives out there are doing engineer for an hour programs. So that's something to think about. Or just about every Saturday we're going to be running the train from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And of course we'll probably do some more operating afterwards, depending on who's here and what we have going on. But Saturdays are the public runs, and then Sundays are going to be Steam Locomotive Experiences. And just a lot going on here. We're going to be burning a lot of coal this summer, so hope to see you guys out here in Youngstown. Take care.